Hello and welcome to Radio Waves. I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. We're broadcasting out of WLBE Real Country, 790 AM out of Leesburg, Florida. And if you're watching us on television, you're doing so on Lake-Sumter TV, Comcast Channel 13, Bright House 498, and CenturyLink Prism Channel 83. So today I have yet another special guest, and we're going to be talking about the March for Babies, Sheriff Peyton Grinnell. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Kris, thank you for having me back on again.
Oh, love to have you. Love to have you. So let's talk about what was your inspiration?
Well,
why are you the chairperson for this year's March for Babies?
Well, I'll tell you, when you have 750 employees, you can't help but to notice when your employees are affected by something in their lives that causes them to miss a lot of work. And, we were looking at some of these cases, and a lot of them were because of premature babies that were causing hardships in the family. And I just can't think of a better way to give back a little bit here in Lake County than to be the chair for something as awesome as March for Babies.
And that's something that really hits home. And for myself, I never really thought about how it affects the employees or the employers.
Sure.
Not that it's a negative result necessarily, but these are your people, right?
That's
These
right.
are the people that you care about, you work with every day, and you generally become like family in most cases, from my experience anyway.
That's right.
Okay, well, let's talk about the March of Dimes. People probably want to know exactly what it is. Now, we all hear about it often, but what exactly is it?
Sure. March of Dimes leads the fight for the health of all moms and the babies. And we believe that every baby deserves the best possible start. Unfortunately, not all babies get one, but, we're changing that. March of Dimes fights for the health of all moms and babies, and we're advocating for policies to protect them, and we're working to radically improve the health care they receive. We're pioneering research to find solutions. We're empowering families with programs, knowledge, and tools to have healthier pregnancies. And by uniting communities, we're building a brighter future for us all.
And the March of Dimes has been around for a very, very long time. Can you tell us some of the things that they've already been able to accomplish over the years? Because if I'm not mistaken, they started, 1938?
Yeah, I was actually taken back by that. I didn't realize it. And immediately after it was founded in 1938, the March of Dimes established a system of committees to award research grants. And the earliest grants in basic science, virology, and medicine stimulated research in the sciences and led to the development of the polio vaccines developed by Dr. Salk and Dr. Sabin. With our mission, changed to birth defects prevention in 1958, and the foundation maintained its firm commitment to basic science, but with the shift of focus to the clinical delineation of birth defects.
And just to put things into perspective, I've got some stats here. And I kind of like our listeners to know just the range of what we're talking, how big this is. Worldwide, 15 million babies are born prematurely each year. 15 million.
Yeah, it's astounding.
It's an amazing number. And in the U.S., more than, 380,000 babies are born prematurely.
Yeah, that's
1 in 10.
1 in 10, absolutely. 1 in 33 babies is born with a birth defect. And to talk a little bit about what I was talking about earlier, the employers pay 12 times as much in health care costs for premature, low birth weight babies compared to babies born without these complications.
So it really does cover a large spectrum that really hits people, families, both financially and as well as just way of life.
Sure. In Florida each year, 22,470 babies are born prematurely. Preventing premature birth in Florida could mean an annual savings of $1.2 billion.
Good Lucius. Good Lord. All right, so let's talk about the event itself. What is the event?
Well, in Lake-Sumter, March for Babies is on Saturday, May the 5th, at the National Training Center in Claremont. That's a great, great venue, plenty of room. The fun and registration starts at 7 a.m. Opening ceremonies at 7:40 in the morning, followed by the superhero sprint, and the walk begins at 8 o'clock.
Now, what is that superhero sprint?
Yeah, the superhero sprint. They can sign up for the kids can sign up for $20. Each additional child after that is $10, and they're going to be provided with a cape, and it's the March of Dimes signature logo on there, and it's just a real neat way for these kids to participate in that sprint.
Yeah, they get to wear a cape all day. It's like
Sure.
being a hero.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So, judging from what we did last year, right, which Ed Grizzard was the chair last year.
Gus.
Or Gus.
Gus.
Gus. Sorry, Gus, if you're listening. What is the goal for this year? And is there a minimum you have to donate in order to be involved?
Well, I'll tell you that, first of all, Gus and I went to the same high school together. We graduated in the same class. So my goal was to not only raise a lot of money for this great cause, but to definitely beat Gus Grizzard. So we're gonna
There you go.
we're gonna work real hard to do that. But the March for Babies is the premier fundraising event that funds the March of Dimes mission. It is the first ever major walk event in the U.S. starting in 1970. And I just think some of these points here are very important. You look at annually, more than 6 million participants in 450 communities raise $80 million to support the life-saving research and programs of the March of Dimes. And we could not do that without you, the listeners, you, Kris, making sure that we get this out to our listeners. And, here in the Orlando market, over 8,000 individuals and 524 teams raised over $1.4 million to address the problem and help babies survive and thrive. And that's the good stuff, and we really want to make sure that people know that they are making a positive difference. And here's right here at home, in Lake-Sumter, we raised over $239,000 in 2017. That's the year Gus was the chair, towards the mission of the March of Dimes. And we're going to beat that this year. I'm very optimistic.
Well, a little bit of competition doesn't hurt anything, does it?
That's right.
And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. All right, so the goal for this year, again, is how much?
Our goal for 2018 is to raise $240,000 towards the mission of the March of Dimes to lead the fight for the health of all moms and babies. We encourage each walker to set a goal of at least $100 to help moms and babies. That's easily obtainable.
Oh, I think so.
Absolutely.
And again, people don't have to pull this out of their own pocket. They can generate the money. Like, I tell you what, I'm looking at donating. You got $5, $10, you can run around the office, maybe create your own team, that type of thing. I've done it. We've seen it happen before. But this is such a large organization and big event. I know there's sponsors out there.
Absolutely.
Who are the sponsors for this event?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about our national sponsors first. We have Kmart, Famous Footwear, Macy's, the Hospital Corporation of America, Cigna, and Pampers. Those are our national sponsors. Regional sponsor, once again, kudos to Public Supermarkets. It's unbelievable what they do for March for Babies. It was my first job in high school. It's glad to see that
Is
they're
that right?
still as good a company today as they were back then. But Publix associates and customers have raised more than $73 million for the March of Dimes since 1994. And Publix is the #1 national March for Babies corporate partner, raising over $8.3 million in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, right here in Lake-Sumter, Publix raised over $136,500 in 2017. So we're asking people to please support the Publix March for Babies campaign this year. And they need to know that that starts April the 12th through April the 28th. And when they go up to the registers to pay for the groceries, they'll see that advertisement.
Okay, and that's April 12th through the 28th.
April 12th through the 28th, correct.
Okay, now what about local sponsors? We're talking big companies now, nationally and regionally, like you were talking about Publix. Do we have local sponsors?
We do. Lake County Sheriff's Office is proud to be a signature sponsor, along with Rainey Construction. Buddy Rainey down in the Groveland area just really stepped up this year, and we appreciate that. Gold sponsors, ERA Grizzard Real Estate and South Lake Hospital. We have our silver sponsors, which is Brown & Brown Insurance, Central Florida Health, and Insight Credit Union. And the bronze sponsors so far is Business Techs out of Leesburg and United Southern Bank.
Okay, so now these are all companies that they're ours. These are our people. So these are your neighbors, your friends, your family that are participating in this. And I think that's my bigger picture. That's what I like to see is large community events, Lake County-wide.
Sure.
Right? Granted, the national level, yeah, I get it. Big deal. Been around since 1938. You kind of expect that much. So anyway, I like to see that, and I guess what I'm trying to do is encourage as many people to participate as they possibly can.
Absolutely.
So,
it takes
it really is important, and it's a good cause, and relatively easy.
That's right, and it takes the community to support a community.
Absolutely. So let's get back to the event and some questions that some people may have. It's an outside event. You go for a walk. Good cause. Does it still go on if it's raining?
Absolutely. This event's going rain or shine, and it is a walk, so participants will be dressed down, and hey, this is what it's about, getting out there and walking, and a little bit of rain in Florida is not going to hurt us if it rains, so we're still looking forward to that.
Yeah, but everybody in purple,
That's
maybe
right.
a little wet, so nothing will stop this. It rain, snow, we're talking like postman type level. The show must go on.
Well, if snow happens, I might not be there, but no, I'm just kidding. Rain or
Well, that's
shine,
true.
we'll be walking.
All right. Sheriff, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get a little bit more into the event and the March for Babies.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back in a few moments. Hello and welcome back to Radio Waves. Again, I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. Today we're making waves with Sheriff Peyton Grinnell, who's the chair for this year's March of Babies. Sheriff, thank you again for coming onto the show and talking to us about this very important
Yes,
event.
sir.
So, before the break, we were getting a little bit of background information, a little bit of the history on the March for Babies and the March of Dimes, for that matter. And now that we know that come rain or shine, the event will take place, if something comes up for someone who is interested and they've already donated and they just can't make it, how can they donate if they haven't already?
Yeah, first of all, if you pay by credit card or PayPal or another online donation, it's not going to be affected if you can't walk. Only the cash and checks that you're holding would need to be turned in if you're unable to make the walk. We'll have a bank day scheduled on Thursday, May the 3rd, from 12 to 4 p.m. at the site, which is the National Training Center classroom. Or you can contact the local March of Dimes office. I'll give that phone number out. It's 352-942-3780. Or you can email Annabelle, and her email is acroy@marchofdimes.org to make any other special arrangements.
So what if I haven't signed up for the main event, or if someone out there is interested? Can they still get involved?
Absolutely. There's still plenty of time. You can go to the marchforbabies.org /event /lake-sumter. We want to make sure that you're at the right event for Lake-Sumter to register and raise funds and or make a donation.
That's actually very important, because if you go to the website, there's all kinds of events. There's a lot.
Sure.
So look specifically for the Lake-Sumter event.
That's correct.
And I'll give you all the information. So I want to talk a little bit about the money again. And the reason why I say that is there's more and more skepticism today. Where's my money go? There's jars on, registers all throughout the country. Where does the money go for March of Dimes?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. And as the sheriff, I'm asked that a lot about different organizations that are soliciting funds. But I'll tell you, each year March of Dimes invests millions of dollars to fight the leading threats to infant health. The March of Dimes is a Better Business Bureau accredited charity and meets all of the 20 standards, I believe, that they have listed on the Better Business Bureau Wise Giving Alliance website, which is give.org, and has earned the Platinum Seal of Transparency, which I believe is the highest designation a charity can receive in a joint charity Navigator Guide Star Rating program. When you support our work, you can be assured that your dollars are reaching those families that are most in need. And with our partners, we work to ensure any grants or funding include impact reports on who is being assisted. So we're proud of our investment in research and programs to give every baby a fighting chance.
All this money goes into the event, and people participate. I guess, are there any specific investments we make to deliver the mission?
Sure. For instance, in 2016, the March of Dimes invested nearly $20 million into our groundbreaking research to understand, treat, and prevent the serious health problems that threaten infants. In more than 130 programs across the country, we offer information and comfort to families with a baby in newborn intensive care through our NICU Family Support Program. And we are providing health education and support to millions of individuals through our website, printed materials, our videos, social media, community programs, and personalized support in every state.
And that's to help get that word out there. That's an incredible amount of money. It really, really
It is.
And just to touch base on this, the statistics we were talking about earlier, much needed. 15 billion, I believe I saw. That's a lot. 1 in 10 babies. That's just, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. So what's new this year?
Well, a new incentive this year for a high-performing fundraiser is the Why I Walk sign. Basically what that means is when an individual walker hits $500, which is their donation and pledge, they will receive a congratulations email and instructions on how to place their order for the sign. And that sign will be displayed on walk day along the route. You touched on this earlier. You asked about the superhero. That sprint, the superhero sprint, is back. And once again, every registered participant is welcome to register the kids for that event. $20 registration fee for the first child, and then $10 for every additional child. Now, this is strictly a registration fee and will not contribute to any fundraising efforts for the participation or show up on their donations, but it is still tax deductible.
Okay. So again, now you're able to get the kids involved a little bit more. I've seen pictures from previous events, and they're all running their little dash, like I don't know, maybe a 20-yard dash, 50-yard, something like that. And it's really cute to see them running with all their little capes and things like that.
It is.
And again, it creates an environment where people are, not to sound cheesy, maybe fostering goodwill, right?
That's
right. Everybody knows they're there for a good cause. Some people, again, have lived through some of this, and some are just supporting those who have.
And when you talk to the kids that participate in that superhero sprint, I mean, they truly believe, and they are, but they truly believe that they're making a difference by being there. And so at a very young age, you're teaching them community involvement.
Right. Good point. So let's talk about the people who tend to drag their feet a little bit, like myself, unfortunately. And I do have a tendency of waiting till last minute to take care of things that I want to do in the first place. Can you register? Or what do you do if you want to register the day of the event?
Sure.
Let's say, because we still got time, but someone like myself who's like, oh yeah, I want to do that 3 days from now. Oh yeah, I want to do that. And then sort of like, you going tomorrow? Yes. What do I do in that scenario?
Well, listen, if we have 1,000 people that show up with that problem, we'll be happy.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you, they'll have the ability to register on the website with their phone on the day of the event. Then they can just show us or our staff there the completed registration and a signed waiver form. We will also have hard copies on hand that the participants can fill out. But please don't let that hold you back. We just come on down, bring your friends, bring your neighbors, and we'll get you signed up.
And that's what I was getting at, right?
Absolutely.
There. Just it's a worthy cause. Do it, and excuse me. don't be afraid if you think you've missed out on the registration. You can pretty much register up to that point.
Absolutely.
And if someone wanted to get information on this, where can they go?
Well, they can go to the marchforbabies.org with the /event /lake-sumter and see all the information that's on there. And as their sheriff, they can call me directly at the Lake County Sheriff's Office. I'll be more than happy to talk with them as well. But the main thing is, and I really appreciate you, Kris, getting this information out there. This is such a great cause. That's why I'm standing behind it. I've seen the families that have to go through the hardships of a premature birth, and this money is desperately needed for research, so we continue to improve the health of our children.
Well, thank you for that, and
Sure.
let me say thank you for being the chair this year. I know it's a heavy responsibility. You seem to take heavy responsibilities on pretty well, but thank you for stepping up and doing that as well.
Yes, sir.
Now, speaking of the Lake County Sheriff Office, and maybe some of the people who've got their own teams, is there any shout-outs that, can you talk to us a little bit about what your team is, so that if there are anybody out there, any in our audience, that may want to do a team, just to kind of give them a feel of what that's about?
Sure. Under my leadership, we have the executive leadership team, and just a great bunch of people and organizations here, such as our Lake County property appraiser, Carrie Baker. We talked about business techs and Gus Grizzard for ERA Grizzard Real Estate. Have our own Lake County Supervisor of Elections office under Alan Hayes. We have Central Florida Health. Golly, the list goes on and on and on. We have the South Lake Hospital, Paul Johns. We even have our clerk of courts, Neil Kelly, which is really, really neat. And I was just told some information earlier that it'd be interesting to see if that comes to fruition, if they reach their goal. Somebody's going to have to repel. We won't talk about that yet. But talked about Buddy Rainey Construction. Just I think he's even going to be next year's chair, which is awesome. And Dr. Stanley Sedor with Lake-Sumter State College. And that's just a few of the executive leadership team here locally that's involved in this great cause.
And again, it is a great cause, and I encourage anybody. It's simple. Go to the website, and again, that is marchforbabies.org, and just research it a little bit. I was surprised on how easy it is to get involved, and you don't have to necessarily do a formal team. If you or anybody you know or in your workplace want to say, let's collect some money, donate, and we'll all go walk, in my mind, that's a team.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's not right. It doesn't have to be, registered and all of that, although you might as well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing things as simple as some of the employees having bake sales and barbecues and things of that sort. So, every dollar helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen people do more for a lot less worthy causes.
That's right.
Right. So, well, Sheriff, that's all the time we have for today. I want to, again, thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy.
It's an honor.
All right. So that does it for Radio Waves today. I'm your host, Kris Poliquin. We'll see you next time.